Hello guys, welcome to Fargos mutant mod. It's called a mutant mod because it adds a mutant NPC, as I will show you now. This is not to be confused with Fargos Souls mod, which adds OP accessories and a new mode called Eternity mode, which is insanely difficult. This mod is very nice and it is a great quality of life mod that can help you for some other stuff too, so make sure to watch the whole video if that sounds interesting. First of all, I'll mention the three main things Fargos adds. It's the infinite ammo options, the boss summons, and finally the config options. I will be talking about them in that order as well. In Fargos there will be unlimited ammo versions, as you can see in the background footage. It's for all the vanilla ammo types. It's very important for ammo types that you need lots of, such as crystal bullets, echo bullets, chlorophyte bullets, or even luminite bullets. Or even arrows as well, if you use those a lot. You of course don't need to use these in the case that you're using the config option that I mentioned earlier. Using this config option you can easily just put items in your inventory in the ammo slots. This is very useful for when you're either using modded ammo types such as super cool bullets from Calamity which can't be crafted into an unlimited version, or if you have max stack plus or an alternative mod that increases stack sizes. Because all you need for that is to have 3996 ammo, or 4 stacks in vanilla terms, in the slot, and you won't consume any ammo while shooting. Very useful for rangers. Don't worry though, this mod is something for all classes, as you will see soon. Fargos also adds a boss summons in the case that you can use to summon multiple of the same boss. There is also another item which is sold from a mutant himself that you can use to combine summons and summon them all at once, which is very nice for people who want to summon multiple bosses at the same time. They are also useful just to have because they remove the limitations that we would usually have, such as the Brain of Cthulhu / Eater of Balls, requiring you to be using the Crimson / Corruption. But with the summon you make, you can just craft them in the crafting bench. You can just summon them anywhere. However, this may cause them to enrage, depending on what mods you're using. This goes for Queen Bee as well. If you summon her out of the jungle, she will enrage. Something cool is that you can't use a fleshy doll that summons the wall of flesh anywhere but the underworld, which is nice because you would immediately die if you manage to summon him outside of it. There are also some other ones that summon multiple of the same boss, such as the Swarm Crown, which summons multiple King Slimes upon use, such as the Pandera's Tesseract, which will cause the Knight to summon any mini boss in place of normal mobs. I'm pretty sure it can summon actual bosses as well, which is quite interesting. I would not recommend doing this if you don't think you can handle the whole night, right? Because Cosmolite doesn't work. At least when I tried it, it didn't work. And the only way I found stopping it was saving and exiting, and it's way too hectic for me to actually fight it, so you know. There's also the item called a mutant voodoo doll, which summons every single boss whenever you use it, so I would not suggest doing it before you fought Moonlord, at least. Probably they need a lot of upgrades even after post Moonlord. But yeah, this does not include modded ones, so make sure you are prepared if you decide to use this item. The last noteworthy mention is the Ancient Seal, which will summon every single boss from the game, included modded. I would show you the footage, but it lagged my PC a lot and I'd be like 5 FPS, and that would not be nice to watch, or edit, or record, because it might just crash. All the normal summons are sold by the mutant at high prices once you defeat their bosses. It's a complete scam, rip-off. If you're playing Calamity, just buy it from the Dryad or the Amidias or Permafrost. They sell some boss summons. Then comes the next major group of items this mod adds. It adds the items that allow you to pick up town NPCs, which I couldn't really find that much information about on Google, but it's super simple. All you need to do is use BugNet and have the config option enabled. But what they do is when you use them is it spawns an NPC. That's all for this chunk of items. They all do the same thing. There are also some crafting recipes, such as the Truffly Worm, which you can just craft out of truffle and a worm, I'm pretty sure. Now we get to the fun part of the video with individual items which have cool effects and do fun stuff, such as the Boom Shuriken, which explodes upon contact with tiles. It's pretty cool and does 19 damage. It's basically a grenade and a shuriken combined, except it also breaks tiles. The Instabridge and Obsidian Instabridge are useful items that when used will make a world-long bridge to clear any items or blocks in the way, so be careful not to delete something important, like chests, or your entire magic storage system, because it will do that if you do it. The Instavator is an instant elevator, which is super convenient, and I usually make it in every playthrough I have of the game. There's also a Troll Bomb item, which is fun because it summons a random bomb every time you use it, and it only costs mana. can create grenades, bombs or dynamite, and they can either be normal, sticky or bouncy, with bouncy being the rarest as I've seen. Probably because it uses pink gel, and pink gel is very rare. Then is the battle cry, which increases spawn rates to 10 times, basically a non-consumable side potion. There is an item that does this but much more potently from Louis AFK, but just wait for that video. The death fruit just decreases your life by 20. What happens when you use it more than once? You lose more life, and more life, and more life. At the time of making the script I have no idea what happens if you use it at 20 HP, but I guess you'll see in the video. The Deviant Sundial and the Portable Sundial are similar in that they both make the sundial effect, but the Portable Sundial can switch day and night like the Cosmolight from Calamity. It also resets the Travelling Merchant's trades. Then there's the Expert token, which swaps the world into Expert mode. Quite useful. Also, why would anyone play on normal mode? I'm kidding, I don't judge. Fucking noobs. The Cheapstakes End is an interesting item. To use it, simply put it next to a weapon you want to use it on in your inventory and watch it cycle between reforges on the tooltip. When it gets to the one you want, then simply right click it and it'll apply the reforge. Make sure it's a reforge the weapon can actually get, otherwise it won't do anything. To obtain this item, just commit genocide on a goblin tinkerer like he always wanted to after he breaks your Terrorblade. There's also a stat sheet which you get off of spawning, and it shows some neat stats about your character and the gear it's wearing. Quite useful if you're comparing gear. Then there's the super dummy. I always use the improved dummy from Louis AFK, which is a solid option. Minions attack it has the same amount of health. Well no, it has an insane amount of health, and you can summon multiple to see how much DPS you can show on your screen. Here are the Flask and Renewal. The Flasks spread their biome to a large area, and the Renewals spread it to the entire world. The Purification Renewal seems quite useful to cleanse your whole world with. I'll show the recipes on screen, but make sure to get a recipe browser when using a lot of mods, as it saves time you would be spending on wikis. This mod also adds cool summons for events. They become purchasable from the Abomination once the event has been completed, in quotation marks, which really just means that they've been summoned and ended. It also adds the summons for rare enemies like the Mimics we can buy from a Deviant. This can include other rare enemies like Nymphs, Pink Slimes, or Pinky I think it's called, Rainbow Slimes, and a whole lot of other stuff. We also have the item called Ancient Masters Map of Lost Kings' Great Ancestors, which reveals a whole map for you. It's not consumable, so you can just use it as much as you want. It adds a cool item that makes houses for you called Auto House, I think, in case you don't like building. But if you use this, why not just use the Start With Base, which is a mod I usually use. Anyway, Regal Statue makes NPCs respawn really quickly while you're nearby it, which is super useful if you don't have a friendly NPCs don't die mod. Put this in your base and forget about it. The Multitask Center is a crafting station that acts as a lot of stations at once. To be precise, the workbench, heavy workbench, furnace, anvil, bottle, sawmill, loom, table and chair, cooking pot, wooden sink and a keg, which you need to craft it with. This is later upgraded to the Crucible of the Cosmos. The Elemental Assembly is similar, but it has different stations. More advanced ones, including the Hellforge, Alchemy Table, Tinkerer's Workshop, Imbuing Station, Dye Vat, Living Room, Glass Kiln, Ice Machine, Honey Dispenser, Sky Mill, Solidifier and the Bone Molder. These two combined with a Hard Mode Forge, Hard Mode Anvil, Bookcase, Crystal Ball, Auto Hammer, Blendomatic, Meat Grinder, Steampunk Boiler, Flesh Cloning Vat, Lizard Furnace, Ancient Manipulator and 25 Luminite Bars make the Crucible of the Cosmos, which acts like all the combined stations. Neat. One other thing this mod adds is that it adds a different version to the same weapons, like a summoning version of the Nimbus Rod or a throwing version of the Lightning Discs. Quite useful if you're doing a summoning playthrough or a thrower playthrough. Finally, there are the rest of the config options. I usually use all of them because of how useful they are. The first three are to, I spelled free wrong in my script, haha. The first three are to allow the spawning of free town NPCs as small adds. Well, really four, but the three main ones are Mutant, Abomination and Deviant, and also a Lumberjack, but all he does is sell wood. There's the unlimited ammo at 3,996 of the ammo, same for consumable weapons for things like rogue and throwing, unlimited buff potions for when you have more than 60 in your inventory of the same type, Angler Quest instant reset, it's quite self-explanatory. Extra lines on fishing rods make it so that for every 5 fishing quests done, you get another fishing line on your fishing rods. Stalker money throw, which makes it so that the money throw follows you once you've deployed it. Catch town NPCs lets you catch town NPCs with bug nets. Banner recipes is similar to IMK Sushi's mod, which lets you craft banners into rare items, such as 5 Chaos Elemental banners into a Rod of Discord. Weapon conversions lets you convert weapons that have a different type, as mentioned before, into those versions, just by right clicking. Increased max stack increases your max stack to a certain number, which is I do not know, because I always use max stack plus. Increased extracting data speed makes the extracting data super fast, and it's super satisfying to use. Okay, so guys, that's about it for this mod. Super nice mod that I love using. I would definitely recommend this mod to anyone who does modded. And it's so nice to have it when you have to farm for a lot of stuff like Calamities and Nightmare Fuel and Endothermic Energy, because you can just buy the summon from a vendor. Super neat mod, and you can download it from Mod Loader.